white Americans felt pushed to a point that they weren't even fully comfortable expressing. But for the most part, when they did, their communication was pretty restrained. Then it was dialed up to near boiling point.
This thing with the guy in Charlotte, from my understanding, and I'm gonna just say allegedly, this was like a planned situation. I'm not gonna say that it didn't happen, but I'm gonna say that I also allegedly saw a picture where these two were rocking out together, right before this instance happened, right? And the guy definitely looked a little different, but as far as it being real, I've yet to see that person, I've yet to see a situation like this, especially in this time of racism in America. Like, it just seems a little off. All right, who is this, man? Who we got up here? Denmark Andy. Okay. Let's bring this over here. All right, I'm gonna bring you up 1 second.
Yo, what's up?
Denmark Andy, what's up, man? I seen you on
What's
somebody else's page recently. What's up? What's going on, man?
Yeah, I pop around like different channels. I go on YouTube, search StreamYards, see who's live.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just to support and say hello, you know. I never been here, I think.
Shout out to you, man. Denmark Andy. You from
Yeah,
Dem
shout
you
out to you.
so
So,
you from Denmark,
yes, sir.
I'm
Yes,
assuming.
sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh are you in America?
No,
Not in America. Okay. Um so what's going on, man? You got something to add to the subject?
no, I just joined, man. To be honest. So, what are you doing?
We talking about black fatigue. Are you familiar with the subject?
No, no idea. What does that mean?
Black fatigue refers to people being tired of the same conversation about black people, basically. Like, they say that we complain about reparations, but then our youth are out here, destroying America, things of that nature.
Oh, I see.
So
I
there's
see.
so
Yeah, it's
many
big.
different
It's big,
subjects
big.
around it.
It's so big, man. And I see it when I hear about Black Americans. They always on the line, you know, on the edge to go like very angry about how they've been treated, and I understand that, but like I don't know how big a deal the mistreating is right now over there, but it's like
So
yeah.
you're saying that this is a real thing. How do you feel about black people, since you're gonna
I love everybody, and I should, but I think there's a big a lot of hate in the world, you know, and over there you live side by side, but not really. Maybe if you're a witch or whatever. But yeah, I think it's more about like if you're a poor black man or a witch black man. You know how it depends on your life and how you live your life and how much you go into. You know. But of course, a lot of poor black people in America, they don't want to stand up to this anymore and like just be treated this way as you do. Maybe I don't know as they do. You know.
do you think black people are justified in their fight against the racism in America? Do you believe that it's justified? Do you believe that we
I
have
don't know, man.
an honest fight? You said you
I don't
don't know.
understand the question. Well, of course you do. Of course you do. There's so much racism everywhere, and I really don't get it. Like black and white, you know. Um,
Shout
I
out to
think,
SJ. My bad.
but yeah, it's very real, you know. I guess, or I know it's really real. So yeah,
Okay.
I think it's so bad. I think we should work together, and especially when you're in America, you see there's so many different uh, um, nationalities and black and white and all. I don't say black and white, bro. We all human color. Some are browner, more brown than others. I'm more white than you, but does it make any sense, you know, or any meaning? I think that's crazy. For me, at least. I'm from Denmark, you know, and I'm born in the ghetto. with 80 different nationalities when I was growing up. The first 14 years,
Hmm.
I was the only white guy out in these blocks or streets, you know.
Right. So are you
So,
familiar
but
with racism in America though, in the United States of
no, not
America?
in America. But I've seen everything about it, like everybody else outside of America. Like we see it, what's going over there, and but I don't. I just think it's a little bit witch problem, you know. You're too witch if this is your problem this day,
You said
because
too
it's
rich.
been going on in Africa. Yeah, in Africa, you can be African as a white or in a black, and they have problems, big problems over there with living together and doing together. But over there, it's just like it's about feelings, you know. It's not really about yeah, I don't know. See what going on in BLM with George Floyd and this movement started from what, you know. And I'm not to say anything about it or judge anything about it, but like I think it can go up in a point where nobody really understand what's going on, and it's just making money and like so on. But we
Well,
should all respect each other and love each other, and God bless everybody, you know.
most definitely. Well, I'll definitely say that the Black Lives Matter movement wasn't technically something that Black people supported per se, like in its in its
Everybody should
completion.
support it. But,
Well, no, no,
okay.
no, no, no. Hold on. What I'm saying is
Yeah.
that Black Lives Matter isn't something that I even look forward to promoting because I wasn't completely convinced that it was for our people. From my understanding,
Okay.
Antifa was extremely involved in that movement, and then the people that did receive the funding, the payments from Black Lives Matter, never distributed those funds back to the Black community. So I would have a major pushback on something like you know, that subject, the Black Lives Matter. So I don't represent Black Lives Matter, if that makes sense.
No, and joining like a Whipple community or a demonstration or whatever. Yeah, of course you should always make your own view and point or what is called like. But we all stupid, you know. But supporting a little bit, it makes a big difference. But just going into something like a big demonstration maybe doesn't change nothing. It just fucking hurt yourself, you know. Yeah.
I get it. I get it. All right, let's keep going. I'm gonna play this video.
It's terrible.
Yep.
Yeah.
Shout out to you, man. All right, let's get this back going. I'm gonna bring this over here.
Point with the recent cold-blooded murder of Irina Zarutska.
The unthinkable happens. You see Brown pull out what officials say was a pocket knife. He unfolds it, then stands up behind Zarutska. What we aren't showing you is the moment where Brown then stabs Zarutska several times and walks away.
And that murder taking place at the hands of a black man who was arrested at least.
Yeah, there was no bio, no DNA on, and I don't know how I feel about that. Let's keep going.
14 times.
Obviously has to go all the way up the ladder. Like we would definitely have to climb the ladder with a subject like this. But them having a generic conversation or a genuine conversation, excuse me, in a setting like this is fine. But for the most part, yeah, it would have to climb that ladder. It would have to go political, completely political, for it to change anything. Hey, put your mic on mute, Andy.
And that's Stevie.
You're not going.
Did you have your hand on your piece? You're like, I don't know. If you can...
Nah, because he didn't come like that. He didn't have the backpack and the ski mask on. Yeah, he didn't have that on.
Was he nice? Was he good?
Cool.
Yeah. What do you guys think like when you see someone with a MAGA hat? Because I know we were kind of talking about that last time.
It depends on how.
Hey, the MAGA hat is like the Scully. It's like the shiesty mask. The MAGA hat is like the shiesty mask. That might be a little controversial, but that's my opinion. Let's keep going.
It depends on how they present themselves. To me.
Yeah.
For me.
Well, okay. So like, what would present themselves in a way that would be like decent versus piece of shit?
Yeah. You know how some people carry that air of superiority.
Yeah.
And if you present that to me,
Shout out
I'm
to
very
Courtney. What's up with
conscious of that. If you present that to me, I'm going to respond appropriately.
Yeah.
That's just me, personally.
We'll be like an air of superiority. Like,
Shout out to SJ for the 30 jewels. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go.
Like certain things you say in conversation, and you know,
Kevin
and
Ellis in
like
the
you said,
building.
just in the physical nature of these chairs. Well, in conversation, you can physically go up and down and put yourself above or
Yeah.
beneath. So when people do that kind of stuff,
yeah, you know, it's funny that you mentioned that because I actually, when I do the change my minds and sit with people, I actually kind of slump my shoulders and deliberately kind of make myself smaller, just to not. It's like, you know, what is it? The crab that has the red under its claws is showing danger. So I don't wear red because apparently that signifies poison. But yeah, no, there's all these body language experts now. You watching TV, and I'm like, this seems like horse shit. Like he looks to the left, so you can tell he's lying.
yeah, some of it is horse.
It's like, I saw him on camera. He killed his girlfriend with a butter dish. I don't give a shit what he says.
He took too long to say that answer. He had to think about it. No, he's thinking about what he wants to say.
Yeah.
He don't just spit out. He wants to think about what he's saying.
Last time we talked, we were kind of just, and the reason was just like, you know, often you see in news people just kind of siphon themselves off right into an echo chamber. And I thought it was good. We were just kind of able to see other perspectives. Where do you think the country is now? Like with that? Like,
Is that an open question? Or?
yeah, race relations between, because last time I wanted to get your perspective, and there's a perspective now in the white community. None of us are an ambassador for the entire community, but things have changed quite a bit the last year and a half. Temperatures have gone up. But what do you guys think? What do you think we are in the
Oh yeah, temperature's definitely gone up, and it's interesting that we have people like Mr. Steven Crowder here who wants to, you know, put a spotlight on it, and we're just looking forward to the change. Like, it's cool to have conversation once again, but let's make sure that there some type of resolution comes out of it. All right, let's keep going. 4 days ago, not Werford. Yeah, good to see you too, Courtney. Appreciate you pulling up.
You know, I'd like to chime in on that.
Yeah.
I'm happy you asked that question. There are a lot of social and economic
It's not a bad thing, Jeff Wilbert. It's not a bad thing. It's just a controversial take. You know what I mean?
dynamics at play that have certainly gone, in my opinion, in the wrong direction. I don't think that people really understand the gravity of where we're headed. We are vastly sliding into an autocratic regime here. And I'll give you several reasons. You see, in order to have, you can't have a one-dimensional approach when you're wanting to continue to lead from a global perspective, all right? What you see here today is an isolationism approach, which has never worked in the past because we don't have an understanding of geography and history, all right? And I'll just simply close by saying, you got to understand something. The rest of the world is grossly infuriated with the way America has taken shape. And not only that, we're ceding all our best opportunities to China, right? Look around you in the relationships they're fostering with everybody else, which includes Canada, Mexico, and they've even gone as far down into the Latin American corridor, fortifying their bases while we're still hollering that we're the greatest.
You talking about China, like in the Panama Canal?
Not just the Panama Canal. Let's pivot from the Panama Canal and let's look at the long-term strategy they have now, where they just signed an agreement with Mexico to build another canal bypassing the Panama Canal. And when you look at the whole transatlantic corridor, where you've got now Brazil and Canada as well as Mexico trading, and they're stopping in Peru, where China has a huge presence at, circumventing completely the navigation and the use that comes with having to use the Panama Canal. So we'll avoid conflict with America and just simply go around America is what's happening here.
Talking about China?
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, I mean, I want to agree with the first part, autocratic. I think China needs to be dealt with, and this is the first time we are. I'm Canadian. Well, I was raised in Canada. Canada sucks. Canada is a dog shit country. Canada, the kind of shit we're doing, you can't do this in Canada. If you say something too offensive or I say something too offensive, you will be jailed in Canada. Yeah. That's the thing.
Well, that's another thing. That's why the fact that we're able to speak up and voice our opinions about the things that we see in front of us has become a big issue for our government. It has become a big issue for the people that want to side with the government. They believe people like you and I, anyone who has a conversation about something that goes against what's already in place should be silenced or should be, you should be quiet. That freedom of speech thing is only, it's been written into the Constitution, obviously, but it has, for some reason, become a big issue in our state.
So I'm fine with the U.S. being the best country. I came here from Canada because, I have friends who were arrested. I had a friend, stand-up comic, was fined for telling a joke. I don't think people realize how good we have it here in this country compared to other countries.
But that's the painstaking part about it all, is the fact that, I've always been one to say, and I believe this firmly, freedom is not a right. It's a privilege until you wake up the next morning and find out you don't have it anymore.
Yeah. It also comes with duties.
That's what I was about to say. It also comes with responsibilities, because while we free to speak and say what we want, and I went to Montreal a few months ago, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
Bet you saw a lot of tits on signs. That's all it is.
No,
It's just strip clubs. Our Times Square is a giant strip club.
It was a couple of them.
Yeah.
But no, like there is responsibility, and like everybody's from different places, different backgrounds. Some of us from certain backgrounds know like running your mouth too much in a certain space can get your ass whipped.
Yeah.
Like, you're free to say what you want, you're just not free from the consequences. Like, the consequences that come with you saying the wrong thing at the wrong time to the wrong person.
Yeah.
And that's where we all have responsibilities in what we say and when we say it.
Yeah. The problem, though, too, and that's, I was kind of talking more domestically, the problem with that idea is a lot of people are offended by different things. And so people get their ass whooped for something they didn't say, right? That's the real thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys were following the stabbing there on that train in Charlotte, Irina Zarutska. Last time I was asking where you guys thought we were, you know, as far as in the country relation. Like, you guys heard the term black fatigue? You guys know what that means?
Since the last time you came, that's become a thing.
Yeah, I was about to say, that's just become a recent thing.
And do you know what it means?
I'm not sure.
I'm going to ask that.
You know what?
Yeah, it's a term that's being used by people in the white community.
We got no. It's not just in the white community. It's not just in the white community. We have people in the black community. They're completely obsessed with blaming black people now for the issues of the things that have been placed on our communities. Now, of course, once again, we're gonna take responsibility, right? But how many of our people are gonna take responsibility without, you know, pointing the finger at someone else because they feel like, shit, I wouldn't have been in this situation had I not been, you know, impoverished, or, you know, they want to, well, that's your parents' fault. And it's like, okay, well, that's your grandparents' fault. And it's like, all right, well, once we get past about a couple generations, bro, then we got to look at the history of America.
By and large, again, saying they feel like they've been victimized and they're tired of taking that shit. You know, that was a girl who was dying alone in public. And that was a guy who was let out 14 times. 14 times, including violent crimes, in the name of racial justice, right? He didn't have to post bail. He didn't have to appear back in court. This is not the first time he's assaulted someone.
How do we know that was in the interest of racial justice as opposed to just being
because the judge said it.
A fucked up attempt at justice, period.
Yeah.
Like, the legal system has its flaws.
Yeah.
And people have been making complaints about that for decades, right? But that's just, to me, that's a mental health thing more than it's a black and white thing.
Well, I'll tell you why, because white people are saying it now.
Right.
Not just, white people are saying, hey, we're in
It's a bigger thing.
Well, because, you know, white people are 12 times as likely to be killed by a black person the other way around. I'm just going to shoot you straight.
Man.
It's not even close.
Where?
Across the country.
Where? Like, not in
The United States. I mean, we're not talking about Ghana.
And like,
Yeah.
what I'm saying is, in white communities or in quote unquote,
Man, you don't see no black men running through these white communities, terrorizing their neighborhoods. See, man, that's the thing I don't really like about statistics. Like, it makes it very weird for people to say things like this. And I go through it, you know what I mean? And like, you don't see black people terrorizing stuff, you know? You don't see them terrorizing neighborhoods. You know what I mean? Shout out to Beautiful One.
I need money.
Yes, Lord. Shout out to Beautiful One with the $199.99. Let's see. Let's read that comment. Let me locate that comment, man. I'm over here multitasking. We got the StreamYard rolling, and we got the I gotta get another monitor, man. Shout out to you, Beautiful One. She said L Boogie with the flames in the chat, man. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, Beautiful One. Shout out to you. Appreciate that. Most definitely. Shout out to Beautiful One. Yes, Lord. All right, let's keep going. Appreciate you tuning in, Beautiful One. All right, let's see here.
so-called white communities.
Across the country, the rate is a black man or person, because most murders men. There are very few female murders. 12 times more likely to kill a white person the other way around.
Man,
And then you look at the average amount of times that
crazy.
someone in this country is arrested before they're brought in for killing, charged with murder. Do you know how many times they're arrested on average before they murder? 11 times.
Once again, the justice system's got its flaws, and people have been complaining about that for years. We spend more time trying to fix.
You know what I would, I mean, and I can almost visualize why you have men getting arrested 11 times. Like, I have friends like that, right? Like, I know guys that's been arrested 11 times, you know, and I'm not bragging about it. What I'm saying is that I see where they're coming from with that point of conversation to make it relevant. You know, what I also do understand about that as well is that those guys once again may not have went through the proper channels for education. I'm not making excuses for those guys, right? But yeah, I can see how that can be an issue. All right. So I'm not going to agree with them, you know, saying that, hey, this is one of those things where it's bound to happen this way. You know, they're basically classifying every guy that's been through the system multiple times a murderer. It's what it sounds like. This guy's been arrested 14 times and then he committed this murder, right? So, like, I know guys like that. I don't know guys that have committed murder. What I'm saying is that we got to look at also what they're going to prison for. Why are they not being rehabilitated in prison? Because that's usually where it's supposed to take place at. A lot of them guys probably don't even go to prison. They probably go through the jail system and back home, you know, do some probation or some shit like that. So, yeah, of course the system needs to look different. But what options, what's available to them to make sure that they get out and they do the right thing? Is it tougher probation, tougher parole, like, or do you just want them to stay in there? You know what I mean? Let's keep going.
It's that than trying to complain about the white versus black of it all.
Well, I think, just like I was trying to listen to all communities last time, I think this is something that's unavoidable. If this community, enough white people get pissed off, they're going, look, we're living in New York now, we're getting killed in record numbers, or Detroit, 12 times the rate. And our system, 3 strikes in California, right? That was a 3-strike policy. The reason that was changed, they said it was racist. Crime went down in black communities 30%. But now people are looking at their cities going, this is a fucking hellscape. And the murder skyrocketed because people said in the name of racial justice, like, 3 felonies, you're out.
Because crime is crime, right? But crime is usually going to be higher concentrated in areas where there's high poverty. So typically the areas that's high poverty in this country are areas with people with this color skin. So that's why you're going to have, that's why I said those numbers could be skewed and made to manipulate to look like, oh yeah, that's why I said in
not at 12 times the rate.
In suburban neighborhoods, white people are not in danger. And that's what this kind of fear.
I swear I have to agree with that brother right there. Like at the end of the day, man, I don't see, they might be talking about impoverished communities. And obviously, you're going to have crime-infested communities in places where people are not, damn near, they're not eating, they're not housed. Probably those people don't own homes. Those people don't have vehicles. Those people are probably hooked on some type of substance, alcoholics, whatever the case may be. And that's like a crime cocktail. You know what I mean? Like, something's going to come out of that situation. So we might be talking about those white men that have been displaced in black communities as well, you know, just those diverse black communities, or, you know, just diverse communities completely. Yeah, hell yeah. Wherever there's poverty, you're gonna see crime. You're gonna see majority of people committing crime. They stealing something, they robbing something, they holding up some type of, you know what I'm saying? Like, so, but as far as like the people he's referring to, hell no. I ain't never, but they don't even be plotting on them type of people. If they do, I've never seen it.
Mongering tells them is that you're in danger because you're 12 times more likely to get killed by a black person. You live in ain't nobody coming after you. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody tripping on you.
That's crazy.
But these people just as scared as some other folks.
They are if they get on a bus.
Not necessarily.
They are if they get on a train.
That lady wasn't in danger because that man was black. That lady was in danger because that man was crazy.
Nope.
That man was mentally insane.
But why was he back on
family members? He had his own family members call the hospital to try to get him committed. He told his sister he killed that woman because he thought she was trying to read his mind.
Yep. Why was he let out, though? And I'm not saying it's because he's black.
Yeah,
I'm saying people look at it, though. The judge said he's insane, right? We agree.
That's not a black and white issue.
He was deemed not fit to stand trial, right?
Right.
Now,
should have been institutionalized.
Right. The IOU policy, meaning you don't have to pay bail. You don't even have to stay here until you're actually convicted. You just say you'll come back.
Right, which is messed up.
Somebody
the judge, Teresa Stokes, black woman, said, well, this is about racial justice. We need to be softer on crime. So that's her.
We got the membership slide. Make sure somebody drop the memberships in the chat for me. One of my mods.
Reasoning. That's why he was out. And you can find dozens of examples.
That's her misguided reasoning.
And that's policy.
But that's systemic, though, right?
That's not representative of a whole.
It's not. It's not. No. And look, we always have to say not all. Like not all white people wear MAGA hats and are dumbass pieces of racist shit. But we have all been accused of racism, sexism, misogyny, homophobia. What I'm saying is black fatigue is white people going, you know what? I know I'm not racist. And I know that we're dealing with record crime, and I know that I'm more at risk. And they have negative interactions, and they're constantly told that they're not allowed to voice their fucking opinion because they're white. And if those people get pissed off, like that's where we actually could end up with some kind of, I'm telling you, I see this brewing. I see people who were milquetoast white suburban who are becoming actually racist. Now, not all of them, but I've seen people actually become racist because they get mugged, their store gets looted, and nothing gets done. They're going, and if I say something, it's turned into a race. I'm telling you what.
Well, yeah, I can see that too. I can see people of other cultures, ethnicities becoming racist with another culture because of the interactions they have amongst those crowds. That's easy to detect, right? But think about the melting pot of America. Like, there's so many different cultures that live within our system and in black communities. Now, let's keep in mind now, you got the Chinese or Asian, excuse me. You have the Latino, the Latinas, you have, or Latin, excuse me, and then you have your European. All of those live amongst the black community. So why wouldn't that happen in the black community? I don't get it. You know what I mean? So let's keep going.
That's where it's coming from. At what point do we have a talk and go like, okay, let's reform justice, but we have to be honest as to why it was reformed in the first place? This guy, it's not even the only one. It's every 3 days someone's being offed.
Yeah, but at the same time, let's transfer that over to, I mean, there's a lot of unsafe things in this world.
Hey,
like getting mugged by a black person is not the paramount unsafe thing. There's school shootings, there's road rage, there's all of that shit.
Yep.
And the primary people that commit a lot of those are people who don't have this skin.
No.
So if switch it over, if black people say, well, we getting fed up and we tired of all these school shootings and all of these road rage and all that, who do we say something to?
Oh, no, they don't want to talk about that. They want to make excuses for that. Yo, I've been watching The Monster on Netflix, yo. They made so many excuses for Ed Gein, man. Like, they going to make excuses for their people. When it comes to our people, we can't excuse our behavior with mental health issues. We can't excuse our behavior because we went through a traumatic experience in life. We have no excuses. We got to go straight to prison now. They said that guy was classified as mentally incapacitated, but, for the most part, a lot of our people have been misplaced I keep mixing those up. Displaced in prison. They're going to prison, all right? I know guys with mental health issues in prison right now. Black guys. All right, let's keep going.
Our voice.
And when does the white fatigue kick in?
And when does the white fatigue kick in?
Well, we've been hearing about that's the point, right? We've been hearing about it all our lives, about white fatigue, about systemic discrimination.
Nothing's ever been done.
It hasn't been here. That's why we've done systemic justice reform that has led to more crime, right? That's the reason for no three-strike policy. That's the reason for cashless bail. That's the reason for catch and release. The reason for it, in the wake of Black Lives Matter, George Floyd riots, Summer of Love, was we're going to reform crime, we're going to reform the justice system, and it's gotten worse everywhere it's been. And then when white people leave those neighborhoods, well, now it's white flight. If they come in, it's gentrification. And I'm telling you, there are a lot of people who are pissed off, and they're not going to sit down and have this conversation and be real about it. And they're going, well,
man,
what happens when someone keep their mouth shut about everything?
You know they don't be wanting. For the most part, this is content, man. But for the most part, they're not gonna come in and they're not gonna keep it real about the things that they've done in their communities to to destroy our communities. Excuse me. They're not gonna talk about that. That's too much for them, man. That's just my opinion, man. Like the moments that you would expect them to own up to some shit, like, oh yeah, we've been hearing it for years. We've been hearing it. He just said he was Canadian. So first of all. But on top of that, like, we've been hearing that for years. Yeah, but why aren't things changing with the way y'all interact with our people? You know what I'm saying? Like, never, ever have you ever, bro. Stop it, man.
Nobody tell you have to.
That's how they feel.
Yeah.
That's how they feel.
I don't believe white people have to keep their mouth shut. I think white people don't speak up about a lot of the things that they do and they perpetuate that affects us negatively. That's the stuff that nobody wants to. That the issues aren't made about those things. I really respect the platform that you have because you do have open and honest conversations. Mm-hmm. And I have to say, I don't believe that those numbers about the black people murdering white people are correct. I don't believe those numbers are correct.
What if they are? What if I'm not lying to you?
Man,
if you're not, then I've been misled and I've been isolated from realistic numbers. But I know in this country, from the time that we got here and until now, there's never been hordes of black people that just go out and maraud and menace.
I thought they said, didn't they say that the Triple K wasn't out here handling work no more? Allegedly, like our people was doing it. So when did it become brilliant for our people to start taking their people out? And why can't they acknowledge that they took our people out in so many different scenarios and probably still continue to do it? Why is that a big? Why is that a big? Like, why can't they do that? Basically, why can't they admit that? Why do they have to make excuses for that type of stuff? Let's keep going.
White people. Now, interactions happen and things do occur. I'm not saying that they don't, but not by and large in number. We can't be this smaller percentage of the overall population and still have the numbers that people try to perpetuate onto us. See, black people do more harm to other black people than we do to other white people.
Well, that's true. That's true. Because people are close. That's true.
We also have historical evidence of groups of white people attacking and chasing black people.
So it's
coming after.
So when people say
it's not happening now.
So
I'm just saying,
and that's the point. Is we're at a precipice right now.
That's a part of the historical condition.
Well, sure, but someone today.
Hold on. I wasn't finished making my point. When like I said, black fatigue. That's the newest mantra that's been put out into society to make people think that they tired of black people. They tired of what you said that we can't say anything about black people. We can't do well when you hold all the power, when you hold all the economic rights, when you hold all the things that make this country move, when you're in charge of those things, you know what I'm saying? Well, you know what? I put it like this: black people, white people got the firecrackers, we got the STEM. That's it. Y'all got the power. The power is placed outside of the black community. We're charged with all the negative things. Those are the things that are really generally coincide with how people relate to us. The bad stuff that's go wrong with this world is the black people's fault. We the smallest part of this country. Remember that. You know what I'm saying? Beside the immigrants that come here, we have been tasked with the negative, the criminal.
Not to mention, like, remember now, our men are dying at an alarming rate. Our young black men are dying at alarming rates, and that doesn't even include overdoses. That doesn't include all of the other things that take our young black men out of this world, man. So there's so many different ways we're being taken out at alarming rates. Not just the violence amongst each other. We're talking about drugs. We're talking about alcohol. We're talking about other situations as well. So it's more to the factors of the things that still hinder our people from being the greatest part, the best parts of ourselves. You know, and that doesn't go for all of us, right? But we have to speak out for the ones that just obviously not figuring out a way to get to that point. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. Like the healthcare system is terrible. The food they putting in their body, right? Like that's triggering the way that they conduct themselves in America, alongside bad health, bad AIDS and health and things like that. Like it's so many different other things that hinder our communities from being the greater part of America. You know, so to make this the butt of the joke, basically, like, oh man, we tired of black people. We just gonna call them out for all of their shit. It's like, bro, y'all still not talking about the root of it. And of course, everyone else has their issues in their communities, but we're talking about ours. All right, let's keep going.
The immoral, that's us, and that's what we consider. That's white fatigue. But you know what we do? We just say that's just how it's always been. So we don't make up words for it or terms for it. So now you have a frustrated group of white constituents that feel like, oh, we can't say anything. We have to do this. We have to do that. So you don't be deemed as it. Well, if you wasn't that in the beginning to start with, there would be no need for the reform or the feelings that you have. You can't say anything about because you done treated us like shit for so long, and people finally stood up and said, hey, you got to stop treating us like shit. Now that you want to feel like, you know, things aren't going in the manner that you want them, now we want the right to keep saying those things.
What if your premise is completely flawed? And what I mean by that is, if we're trying to understand it, you said you have power in all those institutions.
Yes.
What if, for example, you have an entire generation of people, young white men, women, who if they apply to a college or apply to a job, they don't have a grant, there's no Pell Grant, there's no type of subsidy, there's no DEI initiative. As a matter of fact, they're likely to be passed over. They hold no institutional power. And when you say black people haven't done anything, when you think of this white person, a young white person, because I'm seeing some people become radicalized and it can become a problem. Yeah. And then they see billions of dollars and riots and damages all summer long, and then they go, why is this happening? Black Lives Matter, right? So they're going to make that connection. Now, they have no institutional power, but if they
didn't already say Black Lives Matter had nothing to do with every black man in America, that was obviously, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Black Lives Matter would have been like a 501c, like a nonprofit organization, and that would have been led by whoever it was led by. From my understanding, those were some women who don't even, you know, really get down with black men like that. Like, where do we make them take accountability for that shit? We don't got nothing to do with that, man. That's just an organization that was screamed out, and it was being led by outside sources as well, from my understanding. They were the ones attending those rallies and fucking shit up in people's communities and all of that. We had nothing to do with that. You know what I mean? That definitely was a scam. Straight up. Let's keep going.
Go into a neighborhood.
And it's funny because they made so much money from that too. If I'm not mistaken, almost $100 million from that. That did not go back to the black community. That went into someone's personal pocket. So they can't blame us for that. I don't think we should be, they shouldn't try to attach that to us, you know?
That's largely black. They're going to get the shit kicked out of them. And they're being blamed for something that supposedly their racist forefather did that they have nothing to do with. You think we're ever going to have unity? This is the problem. Unity, if let's say your dad's a or your grandfather.
Yeah, I think that if you all gave us what the hell we've been asking for so long, walking around putting our heads down and staying out the way, trying to stay away from you know, getting into some bullshit violence and all of that type of stuff, then maybe you see a difference in these communities. Why can't y'all acknowledge that? It bewilders me. I keep saying it, but like it's funny how they don't want to acknowledge that just so that we can get past this. Don't y'all think that we could get past this if y'all just come with the real and stop flaking around it? Y'all found a way to try to rope us right back into that and point the finger at us. Come on, man. Like, for real, bro. Like, it's like how y'all gonna do that? You know what I mean? Like, you're holding us responsible, but you don't want to hold yourself accountable for what you did to displace us in this country. I don't know how many times we gonna be able to, how many times we gotta say it. We can get past it, but let's make sure we handle the business. Let's handle the business part first. Once we handle the business, then hell yeah, everything after that, bro, it's on you. You know what I'm saying? Straight up, beautiful one, manipulation. Yeah, exactly. And that too not worth it. Like, we know y'all want us to just do the groundwork. We know that that's what we, you know, for the most part, that's what's going on.
And you walk up and you slap his teenager, you now have made that person hate you for life. And that's what I'm seeing with not even my generation. Younger people are going, I had nothing to do with this shit. They came up during the riots.
They love saying the word nigga, don't they? Now, you want to talk about the younger generation, then why can't y'all educate them on the word nigga? If you want to talk about that young generation, why can't you educate them on that word nigga? You know how many white boys I had to tell, hey, bro, I don't want you saying that in front of me. All right? We took the word, yes, of course, but no, doesn't give you the right to say that in front of me, bro. Don't you understand how racist that is? Do they not understand how racist that word is?
They've come up under DEI, and they're seeing a 12-time murder rate, skyrocketing crime, and any proposals they make not holding institutional power shut down as racist.
Now, why was DEI even instituted in the first place? Because for the majority of time that black people have been in this country and been free, we've been denied so much. Somebody somewhere had to put some things in place to provide access of some kind.
If you believe that, that's fine, but you can't tell that young white kid who had nothing to do with it that he should just sit down and take it, especially when they're getting killed.
That's what America's been telling us for the longest.
The young white man that has to
not in my
deal with
lifetime.
DEI, the young person of this generation that you said that feels they're misled by the being mistreated by the DEI.
I'm just using as an example. They don't hold any institutional power. Young white people don't. They don't have an advantage.
Not yet, because they're young white people. They have an advance to where they're middle-aged white people, where the power comes. See, when black people, once again, when you got colleges that denied access to black people, you can't come here. Something had to be put in place. Well, look, y'all got to let some black people come here. Y'all can't just
that started happening long before DEI. Long before black people were admitted into colleges, HBCUs.
Hold on, let me say what I'm trying to say.
My bad.
I'm trying to make it clear.
He's trying to do a senior Wences and talk through you.
DEI is just a new way of wrapping affirmative action.
Yeah.
Affirmative action had to be put in place because there was the access being denied. So the legislation had to be put in place. Well, look, we can't just exclude all of them.
Yes, they do, beautiful.
So somewhere along the line, they have to be allowed.
If we educate our kids more and more about the history of African Americans in America, they need to be educating. They want to take that out of the, oh man, we don't need to be talking about that no more, or we're gonna take that out of the schools. Nah, we need to keep that there. When I was there, I appreciated it in social studies. I would never want to be that far removed from my history in America, but we get to still see all of the other history in America. Why would we try to remove that part of history in America? That right there lets me know that there's an agenda, because obviously they said that the history was already played, they already was toying with the history of black Americans. And now y'all gonna say, well, we just gonna take that part out of the history books? We're not even gonna teach the kids about that no more? Come on, man. That ain't even cool, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to CX 2.0, Empress, Lonnie One Love. Yeah, beautiful. He said, I will never trust my opponent to teach my child where he came from. I can agree with that. Most definitely, yeah. So yeah, of course. And that's why also go over it with your students in the home. Let them know what's going on in America, because they want to just remove that completely. They don't want to talk about that. They want to make this and we have EEOC. That's a myth. We had affirmative action and have EEOC. Okay. Let's keep going, man.
some access. Okay, that was put in place. Now, fast forward till now, those same things that were put in place for those people back in those generations that are still in place, they're not excluding people from getting to places they're just still trying to keep those doors open so that those black people that were coming through that door can still get in. Because if you remove those, over time, we will be denied the access.
If a black person has lower SATs, right, and lower GPA, should he get in over an Asian or a white person?
Let me ask you. It has nothing to see. Look, see, there you go. Like the qualification for employment or a career. Like, obviously, they're going to be educated enough to get into that system. Why do they keep trying to make that a factor, right? And then, obviously, if you're not giving them the same type of education, then you're going to look at it from a status of they don't qualify. Well, give them the same books, right? Give them the same proper education. Why does the education have to be so toward with and so different? You know what I mean? But most of us don't have a solid knowledge of history, so kids learn from them. That's the sad part. Yeah, it is. But on top of that, why? So you're going to argue that they have lower GPAs and lower SAT scores, but once you get there, I believe you can be also trained on that, like a what's it called, like an internship, right? Like, obviously, you don't want anyone that's not qualified or don't have the proper skills to operate or function in a setting. But let's make sure that we're not just saying that those people aren't qualified because they're black and their GPAs and all this shit is low. Like, nah, I don't think that shouldn't be a topic of discussion. We know that they qualify. Stop saying they're not qualified.
If all things are supposed to be laid out equal, no, you shouldn't get. If you don't have it.
That's what's happening.
What it takes to get in. No, but
it is happening, and I'm telling you, but these are bids. I'm telling you,
the majority of what's happening.
It is happening.
It is happening. To DEI, first of all, DEI has been more beneficial. I'm a former commercial contractor, all right? DEI and affirmative action have benefited white people vastly more so than black people. All you gotta do is look at the business ownership or what have you, and you notice that as long as that white female happens to be 51%, then she qualifies as a minority and a double minority because she's white, she's among the minority in business ownership, and she happens to be a female, right? So you look at that based on population dynamics, and that automatically tells you this whole thing about DEI was, number one, not as much targeted towards blacks as much as it was targeted towards minorities, which includes that LGBT, right? So when we talk about that, we need to really deal with the real problem. And as it relates to the rise, let me tell you something right now. Listen, in the black community, I'll be the first to acknowledge, we do have intractable problems that are not going to be solved in one conversation. But what I'm going to say about that, as well as the reason why the black community becomes so infuriated, all right, is when you see gross negligence of justice or misjustice happening and nobody does anything. When this guy kneeled on this man's neck, going back to George Floyd, look, if he had done something when he was subdued and on the ground, what was the real reason for kneeling on his neck except to inflict fatal harm?
I can tell you exactly what it was, and I can tell you why you're not recognizing.
You know, that George Floyd thing was obviously harsh to watch, and once again, shout out to his family. You know, may he rest in peace. But obviously, they're making that a topic of discussion. The black man brought it up, but yeah. Watching something like that obviously lets you know that racism still exists. There's no reason to inflict that much harm or pain on a person and then blame it on a damn drug. You know what I mean? Let's keep
recognizing the problem, because the opinion polls, and I'm not saying right or wrong, the opinion polls have changed on George Floyd since I last spoke with you. You know why? Why? All the body cam footage came out. You know what? You know why? Because he was there for 12, 15 minutes, asked to be put in the car. They put him in the car, asked for air conditioning, gave him air conditioning, asked to be taken out of the car. They took him out of the car. He wouldn't stop moving. People.
You know what though, man? Like in some ways. Shout out to Chris P.W. Taylor for the subscription. Appreciate you, man, for subscribing to the channel.
Watch it now and go, you know what? It's not what I thought it was. You know how many times he was arrested before that? 9. He shouldn't have been. You know what would have saved him? 3-strike policy. He robbed a woman at gunpoint with a child in the house.
Nah, man. See, I don't like conversations like that. And I get what he's trying to do with that. He did that earlier in one of his talking points. But let's stop doing that part right there. Because regardless, at that moment is where it all matters, all right? I don't care where he's located on this earth or if he's in a facility, a prison or whatever. At that moment right there determines whether or not you're going to be humane or inhumane. And at that moment in time, that guy was extremely inhumane the way he handled a citizen. Regardless if he was a criminal or not, you should never handle a citizen in that manner. You should never put your knee on his neck, and I'm talking about for multiple minutes, damn near half hour.
And so white people look at it, young white people, right? Who, you have to understand, during COVID, this is a whole generation of people. White people did not have any fucking opportunities during COVID. They didn't get to go to the graduation, college, black, white, all of them, right? It's a generation that's pissed. Rightfully so, they got screwed. I think we can agree on that. They're going, I watched my city burn down for a guy who was arrested 9 times and committed violent crimes against women. What?
Now, you know, let me
That's a travesty of justice. He should be out in public.
Let me say
How many felonies does President Trump have on his record? Yeah, he was still allowed to occupy the most.
No criminal felonies.
He has no criminal felonies, but he got
Of
moral.
course he gonna get they gonna take them felonies off his account. I ain't got nothing to say about it. I would say allegedly, but off his identity, you know. But at the end of the day, just like they doing with the Epstein shit, man, like y'all try to take that away from Trump. I ain't got nothing to do with that until the evidence come out. I'm gonna say allegedly. I don't know why that has to be overlooked or why you can't look at it in the same manner, because you just said felony. So like if he's a felon, then you would still consider him a felon, right?
Felonies, which would, if there was a court of justice for that, he probably would be tried a long time ago. I mean, let's talk about it.
Is this where we all get on board with crazy white bitches who accuse men of rape?
No,
like, I probably she accused 26 men of rape. That crazy broad.
Here's the reality, though. And when you look at the convergence of this new agenda, where you're going strictly into blue cities, why is it that most of those blue cities also happen to be occupied? The areas they're going in are heavily occupied by minorities. Why is that so?
Well, black people tend to vote Democrat, and they're run by Democrats. Detroit, you can look at it. You can look at Chicago. Is that what you mean?
I mean, no, that's not what I'm asking you at all. What I'm asking you is, like I said, with this all-out assault right now, just last night they were talking about something in Chicago, right? Where at 1 o'clock in the morning, you had people in military gear, what have you, helicopters and all this kind of stuff like this shit, not just knocking doors down, but dragging people out.
Because it's the murder capital of the country. You just said black people are more harmed by this. We don't want to take out murderers?
No. I think really what you're confusing what I'm trying to say to you.
Are you talking about the National Guard in Chicago?
No, what I'm trying to say to you is this, though. If we're going to talk about the problem, let's talk about the problem in its totality. The fact about it is, when you talk about white America being pissed, white America is going to always find a reason that doesn't fit their narrative or what have you. But what white America fails to talk about, and what never ceases to amaze me, is the fact that the biggest threat is not going to come from blacks. The biggest threat is coming from within. You look at the average person that's been committing some of the most heinous crimes over the days, it's 22 to 29-year-old white males, right? Look at how
No, it's just not true, man. Violent crime, you just said, like you said, a small percentage of the country, about 12 to 13%, 50% of the violent crime.
Them crimes that they committing, though, is have you looked at your phone and see what we see? Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, that was my little daughter. Shout out to her, man. I'm almost done. Yeah, most definitely with that. We see the shit that they out here committing. So I don't know why they want to compare apples to oranges, because it's extremely heinous, and it's always and see, like, I'm not one of them guys to look at them and say to make excuses for them either, right? I'm not making excuses for the white, the black, none of that. Why are they not talking about trans offer? Man, let's keep going. Put a little more in the chat, beautiful one, because I'm not really familiar with that. I'm not really familiar with that. But if you could give me a little bit more to go with, I could definitely look at it. Chat and time is hard to see because of the graphics. Oh. Hard to see because of the graphics. Let's see. So you want the graphics smaller? I can definitely bring this down. Try to make this. Let me see, because I'm doing the StreamYard, and hopefully you can see that one right there. That StreamYard I got playing off of that, because I got the StreamYard and the vertical going. Hopefully you can see that right there, if that's what you're referring to. It's America as a whole. Yeah, we just seen them talking about heinous crimes going on in those. And that's why sometimes I wish I could have boots on the ground to go see some of these things like that go on in these other cities where they report on it, to see if I can get a visual of these things. Because if I could see what the hell is going on, then I would obviously, have something, be in agreement with what I'm seeing. But a lot of times when I don't see it, it's almost like out of sight, out of mind. You know what I mean? But to hear it, hell yeah, it sounds extremely heinous. So I don't know why we want to argue that point.
But the murder, a 12 times likelihood.
That's a skewed stat.
So you don't listen to them?
No, I said that particular stat is skewed.
It's not skewed. These are from the FBI, DOJ. And you know what else we look at? We look at Roland Fryer from Harvard, who conducted black professor, really respectable guy, honorable man, conducted a study, and he came out and he said, yeah, all of my research says that black men are 0% more likely to be shot by police officers than whites. Black people got so mad at him, he reconducted the study, a black man from Harvard, and he came to the same conclusion, and now he's not black enough.
Wait, so let me see if I understand you clearly. Yeah. You're saying, according to this guy's statistics, right, that black people are 0% less likely to be shot by a white police officer.
A liberal professor at Harvard, yes, and he conducted it twice. Because black people said what you're saying. He goes, look,
it's impossible if they've already shot us. If they've already put their knees on our neck, what are you talking about? Yo, I just seen a video of a cop do something like that. Literally. Like the black guy walked up on him a little bit. You know, he did have his fist up in the air like this or whatever, like he was ready to battle with him. Unfortunately, I believe this man lost his life, and the cop showed him no mercy. He didn't just hit him once, he didn't hit him twice. I think he took him out of here, right? So like, what are you talking about, man? What is this guy talking about? Yeah, like I don't get it. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. See, that's why you can't argue with. I hate when they try to bring the statistics into it when we have cases that have already, taken place, and it shows where white people are taking black people out. And that's not hate speech. That's not hate talk. This is for educational purposes. This is for entertainment purposes only. Fair use on the content. I definitely don't understand how that's a talking point. How could you use that to debate when we've seen it in so many different manners? And yeah, okay, and exactly, it's what they're reporting, right? It's not. There's no fact behind it if we've seen it. Yeah, it's crazy.
Surprises you? I was trying to find how much worse it is. My data showed me it's not. He reconducted the study an entire time. Now, he did come to the conclusion that an officer is 18 times more likely to be shot than a black man by an officer. This is a black liberal who studies statistics. At what point do you listen to him?
And I don't believe it.
That's you too. Institution, and if he comes out and say something of the sort, there's no telling the backlash that he may not get. Listen, there are token blacks in every society. I mean, all you have to do is look back through.
And there we go. Right? Uncle Tom, this guy, come on.
No, but here's my thing, Steve. Right? I'm not alleging that the guy wasn't Uncle Tom, but let's be frankly honest. How many shootings have happened in most recent history that have involved black men that have been unarmed? And you sit here and use that analogy that black men are 0 times. Listen, as a totally blind individual, listen, I'm even apprehensive. There was an incident where the police stopped us, and it was my cousin and I. My cousin is a retired military veteran, what have you, right? And immediately when we got out of the car, out of fear of possibly being shot, the first thing I did was raise my cane and say, "Officer," I said, "Listen, I am totally blind." Before we get out of hand with this, right? Now, I shouldn't have had to react like that. But when you start looking at what's really happening in this country, many times because here's the deal. I don't care if you put on a uniform. You can't legislate the heart of a man and his intent, all right? And many times these officers do allow that badge to give them impunity to operate and exercise their racism. Let's be honest here, Steve.
Some of them do. By the way, I just find it funny that when I came up and shook your hand.
It's crazy, man. It's like they really. Like, they be acting like we can't see, like we blind or some shit. No pun intended. Like we haven't seen all of the crimes that have been committed against our people, but they'll be justified or whatever. Like, nah, man, I don't understand his talking points. Is it because he's Canadian or what? Like, Mr. Crowder, what is it because of, bro? I don't get it. Why are you making this? You're like, he's really arguing this too. Like, he's completely right in his approach to these conversations about black fatigue. Like, he's startling me a little bit.
And you didn't tell me you were blind this whole time. I was like, I must have woke you up. You could have said, dude, I'm blind. I was like, oh, my bad. I'm sorry. This whole thing. You just throw that out there like a cluster bomb.
Yeah,
I'm like,
so you should have waved his cane when you came in.
That's like an asshole in the middle of the room.
That's what I told you when you said, "Is he sleep behind the glasses?" I was like, "No, he just can't see you."
I thought you were making a joke. I said, "Oh my God, here's this kind of asshole here."
It's okay. He forget he's blind sometimes.
I had no idea.
No, man, but
I agree. You can't legislate what's in a man's heart. Yeah. But you can't throw out everything. You can't go, that stat skewed. That black guy from Harvard who was always a liberal who did it twice, it's skewed. You can't throw it out.
How often do you see black police killing unarmed white people?
Actually,
hey, man, how many times you done seen cops? Man, I done seen cops run from white people. Literally. I'm talking about literally. Like, that same approach I just said that black man pulled, a white guy did that, right? And when he did this, the cops ran from him and said, "Hey, I'm gonna tase you. I'm gonna tase you, man. Stop running at me. Stop charging at me." Like, it's not accurate to say that that's how it always goes, but for the most part, you don't see that with black people, bro. You see them pulling they finna charge at you with their assigned firearm. Okay, I'm trying to. It's like their sidearm. They're gonna charge at you with their sidearm. They're pulling that first. They're not pulling no tasers, yo. Nah, they're not pulling tasers, bro. It's very rare you see.
I need money.
Shout out to Russell Red for the $5 in the building. Yes, Lord. Let's see. It can't be statistically accurate that black folks unaliving each other is the highest when they got more of them in the USA. They don't report they stays. Okay. We got Mr. Kenneth Pierre in the building. Kenneth, you are up on the stage. I can hear you, man. Your mic is live. You hot. Your mic is hot.
Yo.
Yes, sir.
Hello?
What's up, Mr. Perry? How you doing?
L Boogie with the hoodie, what's happening, man?
I ain't nothing, man. You know, trying to get some content off, man. This black fatigue is a heavy topic of discussion, and I really appreciate this topic. So, what you got to add
So I just
to
want
it,
to say
brother?
all praise to the Most High. Salute to everybody in the chat. Man, I'm here loading my truck up. I was listening to the conversation, get my little input before they give me my load.
Okay.
Man, I blame for this fatigue and all this DEI stuff. I think that when social media took off, that's when stuff started getting real weird. Like, people started changing a lot when social media took off.
Okay.
Because it gave birth to a lot of this stuff that's going on right now. Like, people seeing it firsthand, the information and stuff. It's right in front of us now. So, like, you know, we had to go search and seek out that information back then because we wanted to know what was going on. Now, you just got people joining the conversation. They don't even know what's happening. They just want to pick a side and just, you know, there's a lot of naive, you know, naiveness going on, you know, if that's a word, you know, from the other side. Like you said, they want to just ignore the fact that, you know, what happened in the past happened, but that was a brutal, violent history, man. So we can't just skip over that.
Yeah, man. And I think that's why a lot of our people are giving so much pushback on it, because it's like, hey, why does our stuff get hurdled over while y'all want to make this a thing about black fatigue now? Oh, we want to tell you all about how we're tired of you, but you don't want to talk about the history of America that have led up to the points that we're now experiencing. Okay. Yeah, we're going to talk about the past, we're going to talk about the present, and we're going to talk about the future, Mr. Wade, because guess what? Without the past, the present wouldn't be accurate. It wouldn't be relevant. Okay? You think that 60 years ago that our people would have been committing the same type of acts of violence on each other that they are now? For some reason, after all of the programs that have been created, all of the counterintelligence that have been displayed on our communities, now this is the result of what you're seeing with our people. That's what you're seeing now. You're not seeing something that just came out of thin air. Like, our people weren't acting this way just out of thin air. There has to be a problem. There's a problem, right? But you want to say, let's talk about the resolution. Let's talk about the things that can occur from that. No, we have to talk about the root of it. With us not talk or bringing up the root of the problem, then that makes us that leads us to believe that you're siding with someone who don't want to talk about it. You're siding with someone who doesn't want to recognize their wrongdoings in these situations. Have you ever heard of eugenics? Okay, that says that we'll never get it together. Eugenics says that we'll never be able to get it together. Have you ever heard of that?
Facts, man. Not to interrupt you. Facts, big facts. They had seminars held on this stuff, man. So you cooking, man.
Appreciate that, brother. Word. Yeah, let's get back to it, man.
How often do you see that?
Well, I tell you, actually, the stats show that when you're dealing with armed white people versus black armed people, white armed people are more likely to be shot by the cops than black.
White armed people are more likely to kill police officers.
This guy is ruining the conversation now because he doesn't want to be real about anything that he's hearing. See, and that's the thing, H-Town, where I don't know if you're black, white, or whatever race, ethnicity, or whatever like that. But the fact that people like to act as if this is a real thing, like we haven't seen all of the instances that we have seen on TV, social media. Man, I see young black kids get harassed by cops, and I'm a victim of that as well. I was harassed at 14 years old by a white police officer multiple times. Okay, so it's not just talk. It's not something that happened years ago. This is now, bro. Okay. So we can't, the fact that you want to say stuff like that, it lets me know that you don't want to be honest about the conversation and that you're just talking, man, straight up.
Let's call the stats a wash on that. Here's what I do know. Everyone wanted the body cam footage, and I agree. I was like, we should have body cam footage. We should have accountability for police officers, right? And we were to believe after the era of, remember, we went through Trayvon Martin, Tamir Rice, Mike Brown, obviously George Floyd. There were so many that you could use as examples. We thought that we'd have a rash of body cam footage showing us the police brutality. You haven't seen body cam footage of note in the last year. Once that footage came out, it's about a 20-to-1 ratio where you see someone getting violent with an officer. We have not seen what we thought we would see. And now people are going, okay, so maybe not the body cam footage, right? We thought we'd see all the abuse.
Wait a minute, before you jump off of that point, what about the body cam footage where we see white people and white police and the white citizen is being belligerent with the police, but the police showing extreme restraint in dealing with that person. Whereas black people,
dude definitely just dropping stats, my bad.
For your wallet, bow, you get shot. I got a phone in my hand, bow, you get shot.
And I'm
not doing anything, bow, you get
shot. The stats don't reflect it, but white people are being killed in record numbers right now.
I don't like the stats part neither, man, because harmed by a black person. Let's see. I would say let me do it for you like this. If you say how many times have I been harassed by a black person or harmed, I ain't really never been harmed by a black person. What I will say is that I probably had 5 different run-ins with white cops, and I probably had 5 different run-ins with black men. Okay? You're not from the hood then, I guarantee it. Man, I don't care what you say, bro. I don't know you, you don't know me. And I'm not up here to argue where I'm from, okay? I know where I'm from, I know where I've been. That's fine, bro. You know, you want to make this a hood topic. We ain't on hood topic, bro. I'm an adult man, all right? So, yeah, man. For the most part, what I will tell you is that you see, maybe you have that experience, right? And that's unfortunate for you because it sounds like you're traumatically inflamed by a black man. So that means that whenever you look at a black man, that's the only experience that you have had with a black man. As far as me, no, I handle myself accordingly. So I know how to get in situations. I know how to get myself out of situations. All right. And I think that's what our young black men need to learn is how to stay the hell up out of shit. If you grew up in the hood, you wouldn't be saying what you're saying. Listen, man, I'm not going to sit here and talk about every experience I've had with black men. All right. I know I've had very similar experiences with white men, and they had guns and badges, and they thought that they could do it because I didn't know law. And at the time, I might have not had known law. All right. So I know for a fact that they have done shit to young black men, including myself, where they thought they could get away with it. Okay. Harassment. And I got plenty of experiences. Like I got it in my phone. All right. Multiple times.
And they're pissed. And if you keep just not listening to them, look, like you said, white people in the majority of this country, you have young white people who are getting more and more mad. I'm just telling you the truth.
When they mad?
They're mad because this thing. Here's why. Here's why. They go, look, I'm 12 times more likely to be killed by a black person than you are a white person. And you go, well, that doesn't count. They go, look, my dad's business got burned down.
Yeah.
My city got burned down. I've been accused of being a racist, even though I'm not. And I'm looking at this right now, and I'm not allowed to have an opinion. And I can't go into certain neighborhoods because I get my ass kicked. And then you just say, yeah, but you've had systemic power.
Nah, that's another myth too, man. because they have a lot of instances where white guys. Hey, what's that guy's name? Trap Lord Ross. They got a couple white guys that be going in these black communities. They don't even get touched, bro. Now I don't know if it's the toughest or the roughest, but from what I've been seeing, it's the toughest or the roughest. And they ain't putting their hands on them white boys. And they letting them come in there with cameras. And they talking about the crimes they committing in those black communities. They not putting their hands on them white folks, bro. They thinking them white folks gonna give them an opportunity to get up out the project. Okay? Now, I'm telling you right now, they be in them neighborhoods and they don't be touching them white boys like that. All right? And then once again, this is not hate speech. This is for entertainment and educational purposes only.
You can't treat him like any of the other niggas around here because he ain't like any of the other niggas around here. You got
I don't know that name, but I appreciate the sub. I ain't even gonna try to pronounce that. I don't know what that stands for, but hopefully it's something positive. They not touching them. You just said why they not touching them. Yes, that's what I'm telling you. The black people ain't touching the white people, but the white people touching the black people. Are you not listening? Are you not listening? They'll go in there and make content out of their black asses, right? Hell yeah, respect me like you respect them white boys. Facts, exactly. Shout out to Kwame Brown, man. Straight up. Respect me like you respect them white boys, because they don't be respecting us, bro. A black man come through there, obviously, yes, but that's because they grow up around each other. We understand that part about our communities, bro. But why are they like that? We're talking about the root. We're talking about the stem, where it stems from. We're not talking about what they commit. We know they committing fucked up acts on each other. We know that already. You know that. You just said it, bro. You done been harassed and all that type of shit by black people. Okay, so like, yeah, man, that Willie Lynch system, it's real. It's real, man. To go along, get along, all that. It's real in our communities. We get that part, all right? Now, we will continue this. I have to go ahead and get up out of here, y'all. I really appreciate y'all rocking out with me for the duration of the live. Make sure you sub up to the channel if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit the like button and share the content. Turn on your notification bell. Stay tuned for more content. We got like I said, we got the website up, but I'm gonna have to get some help on that website, man. All right. All right, we got Kenneth back up here. All right, Kenneth. Yep. Go ahead and give your closing remarks, man. I'm about to shut it down. Appreciate you, beautiful one.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Appreciate you, man. No, I was just saying, man, I'm finna log off. I've been listening to you the whole time, man. I'm in here humping, loading this goddamn truck up, man. Salute to you. Much respect, though, man.
Appreciate that, bro. Yeah, man. I appreciate you tuning in and jumping up on the panel, bro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. Respect to you. I'm gonna log off.
Respect, bro. Salute. All right, man. Yeah. All right, yeah, he dropped down. Yeah, man. Appreciate that beautiful one for that $199.99. Lord have mercy. Yep, and until next time, man, hug your loved ones. Let them know how much you love them. Tomorrow's never promised. We'll continue on this subject on another day, on another note. CP3 in the building. Shout out to you. Salute to you, bro. Shout out to Not Worth It, CX 2.0. Beautiful one, of course, once again. H-Town Wade for tuning in. Not Worth It. Tuning in. Russell Red with the $5 super chat. We got the $5 from Mr. Russell Red.
I need money.
All right, we got another $5 from Mr. Russell Red. He said, once again, Boogie, it's in their bloodline. Their ancestors were treacherous people, and they are the same America was built by the worst folks. Woo! Boy, it's starting to show, man. It's starting to show. We got some more content for y'all coming up, too, because they said people making racial accounts now, bro. People got racial YouTube accounts. We definitely got to get into that, man. And we're going to do that real soon, man. Just give me a little bit of time. We're going to conjure that up and get back to it. Until next time, man, we up out of here. Shout out to y'all, man. Salute. Appreciate everybody tuning in. We up out of here. Peace.